In a recently released taped deposition, former President Donald Trump is seen insulting former columnist E. Jean Carroll. E. Jean Carroll, of course, has accused the former president of rape back in the 1990s. So now excerpts of this testimony were unsealed by a court on Friday after a federal judge had rejected Trump's lawyer's request that it remain sealed. So look, as I mentioned before, and should have mentioned at the top of the segment here, content warning. Here we're going to have quotes from these excerpts that show a person viciously attacking a survivor of sexual assault. Okay, so content warning out of the way. Let's go. Carroll had alleged that she was attacked by Trump in a dressing room after they had had a chance meeting in a store and agreed to help him. This is an upscale, of course, Manhattan store, because you wouldn't see him doing this in like a Target or a Walmart. And she agreed to help him pick out lingerie for a friend back in the 90s. So the excerpts revealed a contentious battle between Trump and Carroll's lawyer, Roberta Kaplan. So she questioned him as Trump called the former longtime Elle magazine columnist the perpetrator of a quote-unquote complete scam, in which she described the rape as she was promoting a really crummy book. Quote, she said that I did something to her that never took place. There was no anything. I know nothing about this nut job. I will sue her after this is over. And that's the thing I really look forward to doing. And I'll sue you too, he told Kaplan. So look, before I get to more quotes, the same pattern, right? We're all familiar with the Trump pattern. I don't know who this person is. They're just trying to sell you something. They're trying to get famous off attacking me. I'm the victim. I'll sue her. I'll sue you. I'll sue everyone. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Some of the quotes here. Now, Trump said he knew it wasn't politically correct to say that she's not my type. That's another thing that we've seen, allegations that we've seen. Oh, I'd never rape her. She's just not my type. Disgusting. Now, he responded to claims shortly after Carroll's 2019 book was published. Now, he went after her for saying that in her book, and she sued for defamation, or I'm sorry, is currently still suing for defamation, but has added on a sexual assault lawsuit. We'll get to the details on that. But he said, I'll say it anyway. She's accusing me of rape, a woman that I have no idea who she is. It came out of the blue. She's accusing me of raping her. The worst thing you can do. The worst charge. And you know it's not true, too. You're a political operative also. And he's speaking to the lawyer here. You're a disgrace. But she's accusing me, and so are you, of rape, and it never took place. He then later on, in the deposition, called Carroll sick, mentally sick. Yeah. So he also mischaracterized an interview Carroll had given on CNN. So get this, and this is what makes it worse, right? He then claimed that she had talked about enjoying the experience that he claims never happened. Quote, she actually indicated that she loved it, okay? She loved it until commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? She said it was very sexy to be raped. Didn't she say that? I mean, utterly disgusting. That statement right there. Oh, she said she enjoyed it. Even though I didn't do anything. I didn't actually do it, but she said she enjoyed the thing that I didn't do. In her allegation. What? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. It's a gross, gross allegation. Gross. So now Kaplan responded by asking him, so, sir, I just want to confirm, it's your testimony that E. Jean Carroll said that she loved being sexually assaulted by you. So I like this because this is the lawyer actually trying to get him to admit that he had indeed done what he's alleged to have done. Trump answered, well, based on her interview with Anderson Cooper, I believe that's what took place. And we can define that. I think she said that rape was sexy, which it's not, by the way. You don't have to say that. I mean, he's talking about, I mean, that's what she said. She said it was sexy, but, you know, I disagree with that. Why would you have to openly say that you disagree? But why is this is a conversation that had happened. Amazing. Now, look, Carol had said in her writing and in the interview with Cooper why she doesn't like to use the word rape. So she did not say what Donald Trump claimed that she was saying. She actually said that she didn't want to use the word because some other people would say that rape is sexy. They would think that, she said. So she's like, I don't like to use that word. I would prefer to use the word fight, because I guess that's what she had to do. She's alleging, she's like, look, I had to fight him off. And so I guess that works. And look, understand too that I get it why survivors would not want to use the word rape, because it is incredibly triggering to people. And it brings back, you know, I think intense memories of what had happened. And so, yeah, I can definitely understand why you wouldn't want to use that word. So now, finally, at another point in the deposition, Kaplan asked another question, which I think is interesting. And it's if he had ever touched someone inappropriately without consent, and I mean private parts on a woman. So here's what he said, quote, well, I will tell you no, but you may have some people like your client that lie. What? Some people, you know what? Donald Trump has had 26 accusers. 26 different women that we know of have accused him of sexual misconduct. You know, the majority of them, of course, didn't go to court. And you look at, you know, the dates of those alleged assaults, those incidents, and you can see why. There's a statute of limitations, which for me never really made a whole lot of sense to have a statute of limitations when it came to making a rape or sexual assault charge. I mean, what other crimes, you know, like you commit a crime and all you have to do is just like against another person, and you just have to wait, and then they'll eventually go, you know what? I know you did this crime, or we think you did this crime long time ago, 20 years ago. But since it was 20 years ago, we can't charge you. I know when you robbed that bank, you know, back in 2000, it's been 20 years. What are we going to do? Statute of limitations. It doesn't make sense at all. It just doesn't. And so, look, the fact that these, by the way, the fact that these women did not go after Trump is for, I mean, the reasoning for that, there's a lot of different reasons why these accusers did not come forward. And a lot of it has bad things to say about our society and how we treat victims of sexual assault. And so, look, for one, he's a wealthy celebrity. Definitely was at the time. He had a lot of influence back then, and I think in all politics. But now certainly he has more in Republican politics. And so there is that culture of silence. There is that police not taking these allegations seriously. I mean, just look at the giant backlog of rape kits that police never get to. Never solve these cases. And you just look at the culture. So now that said, Carol came forward back in 2019, wrote in her book that, yes, I was assaulted by, Donald Trump. He then mocked her. She sued for defamation. And New York recently changed its laws to make it so that victims could come forward even after the statute of limitations had passed. So E. Jean Carroll decided, well, I'm already out there. I'm already suing Donald Trump for defamation. I'm going to sue him for the assault as well. And so that happened back in November. Judge Kaplan then ruled on Friday that both cases, the defamation and the assault, can move forward. In his 28-page opinion, he said that the fact that adult victims of sexual abuse are legally and in some respects practically capable of filing a suit from the moment the abuse occurs was constitutionally immaterial. Basically, yes, just because they can file, that doesn't mean they will, because there's a lot of things to go through, a lot of hurdles, a lot of barriers for them to actually be able to get justice. The elected branches of New York State government, he wrote, have determined that many such victims are unable to do so, sometimes for long periods of time. They are prevented by suppression of awful memories or deterred by fear and a culture of silence. Just as Ms. Carroll claims, she was dissuaded from reporting or suing Mr. Trump. And I think that's really, really forward of him. I think that's fantastic that, this judge was like, yeah, ruled in this way and said there absolutely is this culture that silences victims and they should be allowed to be heard in the courtroom. And that's what's going on here. So now the same judge also ruled Trump's appeals to get this dismissed as meritless. In fact, he wrote, the fact that Mr. Trump denies Ms. Carroll's allegations does not enter into the analysis at the stage of the case. What, if anything, actually occurred must await further proceedings if the complaint withstands the present motion. So basically, it's going to get adjudicated in court, and it should be. She should have that chance. I give E. Jean Carroll huge credit for coming forward. It cost her a lot personally. Again, she was literally fired from Elle magazine as a columnist for coming out with these allegations. So there's, right now, professional consequences to that. Plus, you have to factor in personal consequences as well. Unhinged chuds constantly attacking you, likely making threats as a result. There's a legion of some of the worst people out there who will probably inundated her with threats, including rape threats, by the way, for her standing up for herself. And not just for herself, but again, also for other Trump's other alleged victims. And so the fact that this case has gone forward, or these two cases has gone forward, I think that probably, might be the tipping point. You might see more of these cases come forward now that Donald Trump is no longer president.